Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And now I am going to share my screen. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for the Mindset Tricks for mega launching. I am so excited to have you here with me, and I hope that, what do I hope? I hope that you really get something out of this. I've had a lot of people, this topic has really brought up a lot of things for people about mega and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to get nice and vulnerable and share some stuff from me, etc., etc. Let me just bring up the chat so that I can see that, and we'll get started. But thank you for being here. So most of you would know me by now, but I'm Anthea Cutler. I'm your mindset coach for women in business. I am loud, super fun, and a wee bit rebellious. And I'm a mindset coach. I have made it my life's passion to study the brain and how it works. So I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, master NLP practitioner, EFT tapping practitioner. And interestingly, back in the day, I got a double degree in business and art psychology. And then I never became a psychologist because of that pesky little limiting belief that I wasn't good enough. So you can tell that, like, I've always been interested way back when. Everyone can see me and hear me okay? Yeah, cool. Awesome. Thank you. And so I'm totally obsessed with the power of the mind and helping women to grow their business through mindset, performance, brain training. I was trained, one of my trainers was the swim coach for the Australian swim, the swim hypnotherapist for the Australian swim team. And so, like, there's always more that we can do with our mindset without the need for it to be perfect, but to make our lives easier in business. And I really want to share that with you today and in my work generally. So this masterclass, training, whatever you want to call it, is packed with a punch. And I just want to caveat with, this is where we're headed. So I want you to see this training as like a big, beautiful image of where we're going. None of it needs to be perfect, nor do you need to do it all now. But if you sit there with an open mind today and think about, just listen to the pings, the ones that are like, that's my next thing. That's my next thing. That's what I want you to get out of today, not getting all of it. Perfect, for sure. So what is launching, just in case anyone is here who hasn't launched anything before? Launching really is when you have a cart open and a cart close date, and there's this beautiful period of time in between the cart open and cart close date where you're launching a product or a service, and there's normally some sort of lead magnet. So whether it's a webinar, whether it's a challenge, whether it's just a bunch of Facebook posts, like, it really can be as small or as big as you like. But in that launch process, there's some form of sharing what you know throughout the launch, which is basically your content, and some form of making offers throughout the launch. And when people are really struggling with launches and niching and messaging, I like to bring them back to this concept. And it comes from Denise Duffield Thomas. Her marketing plan is share what you know and make offers. And I love how simple that is. And then we've got, kind of where we're headed. So from a buyer psychology perspective, what we know is that people normally buy at the beginning of the launch and at the end, when there's that cart close date or incentive to buy by a certain date. But obviously there's all different strategies that you can add in along the way to incentivize people to buy all the way through. And I actually had a client who felt into wanting to do a launch without having a cart close date. And it was really fascinating. Like, everything I do in business is a massive experiment. And it was really fascinating because everybody was asking her, when do I have to buy by? And they wanted a date. So yeah, it's just an interesting one to mention. So the truth about mega launches. So a sneaky little secret is I've not had a mega launch. I've had a 20K launch, but I haven't had a mega launch. Well, I wouldn't, that's the whole thing, right? It depends what your definition of mega launch is in. So still in my mind, I haven't had a mega launch, but I've supported people to have mega launches. So I've supported people to have 2, 4, 10, 15, 20, all the way up to probably $60,000 launches. And I just wanted to bring this up here because this is kind of a little bit of my undoing that came up for me when I was doing this webinar, is what does the word mega mean for you, and does the word mega freak you out? Because I had a whole bunch of people who are super interested in my work say that they didn't sign up to this webinar. I had extremely low sign-up rates, but I'm going to show you why my mindset's still strong for this launch as we go through, because of the word mega, which is super interesting. And it's like one of the things I'm going to talk about is being able to stay in that really resourceful state, regardless of those times when you don't get the outcomes that you were expecting. So you get to define mega. So I just want you to go and ask yourself now, like, what could you do in order to make mega feel safe? And one of the things that I like to do whenever I feel fearful, whether it be like physically, so on a plane, I might feel scared, or for something like a launch, is make it look small compared to something else. So if you have big dreams of having $1 million business, really connect to that $1 million business, and then your $20,000 launch is not going to feel so big. Or if you're scared of being in a plane, like this is kind of where this came from for me, is in my mind, I was so conscious of how far off the ground I was. And so then in my mind, I really connected to how big the universe was. And all of a sudden, I felt really close to the ground. So how can you make this mega launch feel safer for you? What other things in your life do you do to make yourself safer? Maybe you can do that with regards to your mega launch. It is all perspective. So essentially, it's very similar to normal launching, but I believe that we need to up the ante on a few things. So the few things that we need to up the ante on, and this is in addition to mindset, and then we'll go into the mindset side of things, is we need to up the ante on the tried and true marketing strategy, with maybe a bunch of stuff that you are experimenting with on the side. So this is just the reminder that when you go into launch mode, let's not go with all new strategy. Let's use the stuff that worked before, because we already know that it works. And then if you still want to kind of move towards different strategy, you might like to experiment that. So when you go into a launch and you've never used Instagram before, don't launch on Instagram if you've also already got an amazing Facebook following. And yeah, your marketing strategy could involve engagement in Facebook groups, posts on your Facebook page, webinars, challenges, newsletters, Instagram, follow-ups, networking, Facebook ads, and more. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. All of these strategies work, but you want to have tried and true marketing strategy either for you or for someone who you're following that you're going to implement. And then you want to pop all of that into a really easy to follow launch plan. So what day are you posting on Facebook? What day are you posting in your groups? What day are you going to run your webinar? What day are you going to write your email sequences? And for me, it's like I like to have all that mapped out. And then I do the 70-30, 80-20 rule. If I don't follow it to a T, that's fine. But at least that plan, that easy to follow launch plan, makes it really easy for me to plan my day. So it's time to amp up your support. And I cannot tell you how much I have learned this lesson, both for myself and for my clients, is like, for some reason, if you're anything like me, you resist support. You had this thing when you went into business that you had to do it alone. So your support may come in the form of a business coach, for strategy support. For systems support, it might be like a launch coach. It could be a bookkeeper or bookkeeping system, client management, social media content, cash flow, onboarding. Again, this is where we're heading. We don't need to have all of this now, but, you know, just feel into which ones feel like, oh yes, I definitely need to get support around that. Admin support, having an online business manager, a VA, and life support. And like, life support is not to be underestimated. As entrepreneurs, we are our business. We are our business. So yeah, it's like that life support is just, if not more support, more important than the support that you have in your business. So for me, it comes in the form of biz besties who I make contact with each week, meal planning, cleaning, having a nanny. For me, that's daycare, but you know, what support can you get around your business? And it's so interesting to me because I will put all of this support in place, and then sometimes I'll feel myself like going, oh no, maybe I don't need that. Oh no, maybe I don't need that. So it's like a constant work in progress. And let's not forget mindset support. So this is like where I get my rant on. Often, like, sometimes I dig myself into a hole by calling myself a mindset coach because people are like, oh no, my mindset's pretty good. So sometimes I dabble with the terms like brain trainer, performance coach. It's yeah. Anyway, I'll go with the points. But number one is, just because your mindset seems pretty good and you have that belief in yourself, you're not constantly doubting yourself. It doesn't mean mindset's not the secret sauce for you. And I really believe that it's the mindset work that allows us to have the easier business, to believe that business can be easy. So a mindset practitioner, whether it's me or somebody else, can help you make changes on a subconscious level so that the stuff that normally results in one behavior results in another. So if you've got this limiting belief that business has to be hard, we can shift that pretty quickly. If you have this thing that happens when, I don't know, you get somebody asking about your work in a certain weird way and it triggers you, we can change your response to that. We can change your response to literally anything. And like I say, what would you think of it if an Olympian decided to do it alone without a coach? You would think they were mad. You would think they were mad. And so I really believe, like, in today's world, we know how the brain works, and yeah, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same. So I just want to give you some examples. And when I'm in session with people, like, this is how easy it can be in that particular session. And it's not all deep stuff. Like, sometimes it's really easy. So I had a lady who was going from $40,000 launches to $60,000 launches. And do you know what the thing was that changed for her? We did a hypnosis on feeling more organized around around her. She had a product-based business, so around her factory. It was in her garage, so I suppose that's what you call it. And, you know, she was like, oh yeah, well, you know, it'd probably be good if I felt more organized. And we thought it was a side thing. We were working on the side thing, thinking it was just a side thing. That was the thing that was the difference between the 40K and the 60K launch for her. I had another client who was just really hung up on her ego and what her ego was trying to achieve. And so we did some parts integration, and she realized that maybe she'd been judging her ego a little bit more, and it was a relevant part of her that she could actually listen to. And that was the difference for her. I had another client who worked out, like in hypnosis, had this epiphany that she actually found it really easy to make money on holidays. So her thing was, we literally popped it on a post-it note. How can I pretend like I'm on holidays today? Then I had another one who released the belief that it had to be hard. And guess what? She had that pinch myself moment where she was like, Anthea, I can't believe it feels so easy. I had another client who was like in a bit of a launch slump after launch. Her launch had gone pretty well. And when she really checked in with herself, she'd gone on a holiday after her lunch and she came back and she felt really depressed afterwards. And her insight was that she needed to spend more time with friends. So we built that into her launch plan and into her business moving forward. And another person had to forgive her dad because she had all these hang-ups. So you can see from this, like sometimes it's super simple things that we shift and sometimes it's really big things. So as promised, I did tell you that I was going to go through some mindset tricks. So whether you're ready for a mindset practitioner today or not, there's heaps of stuff that you can do on your own. I just think that by the time you get to launching, you're thinking about outsourcing to a VA and an OBM and a systems person and a blah, blah. The easiest way is to outsource it to a mindset coach. But I'm going to teach you some stuff today that you can do yourself. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to get really specific. I don't think there's been one woman in business who has resisted this that I have worked with. So even though we know that we need to get specific on our vision, we resist it. So I would love for you to tell me, I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds. I would love for you to tell me, do you have a specific goal that you're working to right now, either in launch mode or just in your business? Do you have a specific goal that you're working to right now? Have you set one? I would love to know. You don't have to tell me what it is. You can share in the chat box. Have you actually sat down and got really specific? Because we need to have our target, ladies. We need to have our target. If we don't have our target, it's like plugging in, I don't know, Mars into our sat nav and going, take me wherever you want, baby, and then expecting to end up at the shops. Setting a really specific target allows your subconscious to get really comfortable with that target and to go for it in the background. Nobody's answering me. Interesting.
I'll answer on here instead of typing, hey?
Yeah, tell me.
So I'm currently making a video series, which I guess my goal is to finish that at the moment, and I hadn't really thought about much else. But before you even asked that question and you started talking about 40K and 60K launches, I was like, oh, actually, how many of these do I want to sell? And I've just like jotted it down on a piece of paper.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And then Zoe wrote half specific. Thank you for sharing, hun. And then Zoe wrote half specific. I'm getting specific with Belinda Gill. Awesome. And how cool is Belinda? Awesome. Good on you, Zoe. Yeah. So if there's nothing, like if there's anything you take from this, and I felt myself resisting this going into launch, and I know this and I teach this, but you know, we all need to us for us, is get frigging specific, ladies. Get specific. Get really specific with what you want to achieve. How do you want to feel? How do you want to think? How much money do you want to be making? What kind of ideal day do you want to be living? Cool. Awesome. So the next thing that is a cool mindset trick, and I'm sure most of you on here would know this, is acting as if. So my favorite way to act as if is through hypnosis. I do customized hypnosis audios for people to act as if they've achieved their goal. And what that does, it does so much. It does so much. It puts out to the universe what you want. It gets your subconscious mind totally comfortable with what you want, because your brain cannot differentiate between whether you've just imagined it or whether it's really happened. So you can imagine, if your brain cannot differentiate between whether it's really happened or whether you've just imagined it, and you successfully imagine earning, making, doing the 60K launch, like, of course your brain's going to feel comfortable with that. It's the same as the experience that you would get in normal everyday life, right? So most people know that they need to start acting as if, but they don't do it, you know, classic. So you can do this through hypnosis, and you can even, like, even if you don't have a customized hypnosis with Anthea, you can search for a meditation or a hypnosis online, and you can set the intention before you go in to visualize, start visualizing where you want to be in 3 months' time, 6 months' time. That's a cool hack. You can also spend 5 minutes at night without a meditation audio or whatever on, just visualizing. I love this. This is like me returning to Anthea's 15-year-old self, where I, you know, I don't know whether anyone else did this, but I'd lie awake at night and fantasize about the boy that I had a crush on or what have you. Like, we want to do that about our business, fantasize about what we want our businesses to look like. And I just wanted to bring up Arit Krug's 20K walk. So Arit has worked with me as her mindset coach for a number of years. And I can't remember whether this came about as a result of the work we did together or as a result of something else. It just doesn't even matter. But she came up with this thing, because she's a, for anyone who doesn't know Arit, she calls herself an embodiment coach now, but she's also a dance therapist. And so she's really into the body. And she came up with this thing where every day she would do a 20K walk, and she would walk like she felt like she was making the 20K. And I just love it. I love it. It started this whole, like, everyone was doing 20K walks. But it could be anything like this. That's just what she came up with. You've got the visualization, you've got the hypnosis. You may even just choose to start to live your ideal day. So if you've got a picture in your mind of what you want your ideal day to look like, and this is one that I'm working on at the moment, is start living your ideal day. Like, don't wait to do it in the future. Start doing it now. And one of my coolest examples of this is, I would always say to my husband, when we're rich, I'm going to get a chef. And then I was speaking to one of my clients, Sonia, and she told me about this service. It's called I Hate Cooking. And there are these women that come around and they meal prep for you. And they come around for a whole day and they meal prep for you. And they do like 25 servings or something. And she told me it costs $150. I was like, I don't need to wait to be rich to do that. So that was a massive aha moment for me. What else do I do? Yeah, living. Yeah, like I love it when people come to me and they're like, Anthea, I don't know what to work on anymore. Or, you know, I don't know what to work on today. And then I say, well, are you living your ideal day? And they're like, oh, no. And then I'm like, well, let's work on that. How can we get you to start living your ideal days? Sorry, that's Lacey. I've got my Kelpie here in the background. Anyway, so just starting to think about acting as if, whether it be the hypnosis, whether it be the visualization, whether it be the 20K walk, whether it be the support around the home, whether it be living out your ideal day. So the next one that I love to do is taking the time to prime your day. And this can really be really simple. Like, often people come to me and they're doing 25 mindset things to set up their day. I'm like, nah. How are you going to stick to that, babe? So for me, it's a hypnosis in the morning. But it could be a swim. it could be a run, like really tune into what are the things that I know work for me in the morning to set me up for a good day. I have one client and it was making the bed. It was this epiphany that she had in one of my sessions. And she was like, I think we did a hypnosis, and she came up and she was like, I just need to make the bed in the morning, Anthea. And I just love that, like how simple that is. And she started making the bed in the morning, and she just said it made the world of difference. So just really start to trust yourself and lean into what are the things that set you up for a good day, like get you into the right emotional state. Sorry, Alexandra, I'm just going back to your comment. I want 10 advisors to sign up to my new program, but then I thought that's not realistic. So adjusted to only 5. Yeah. That's okay. That's okay. And you've already joined my beautiful membership, so we will work on that, my love. But like, just experiment with it. Maybe one day you can experiment with visualizing 5, and one day you can experiment with visualizing 10. Let's see. Have a crack, my love. Have a crack. Cool. So the next one is having emotional agility. What does this mean? This is the term that I use to describe when you wake up in the morning and you're in a funk. Do you have the ability to get into a different mood? Because I believe that everybody has this ability. Sometimes we just need to fine tune it. And this is why stuff like running, putting on music, etc., works, because that's another thing. Like, changing your physiology is one of the quickest ways to change your emotional state. But I teach a whole range of different techniques in order to be able to do this. But one of the things that we know that pretty much always works is coming from a place of service. So I've been on several calls with people, and they're like emergency calls, freak out calls, whatever you want to call them, before people are going into a webinar or before people are going into a sales call. And most often I just get them, one of the quickest things you can do is come back to a place of service. Hang on, this isn't about me. These people have registered for my webinar. I don't care if there's not 100 people here. 6 people, or however many people I got here. 6, I think. Have registered. 6 people are taking an hour out of my day, out of their day, to come and hang out with me. I need to help them. They want my help. So coming from a place of service, like it's pretty much always guaranteed to work. And you can do it for pretty much anything. Like, if you imagine standing up on a conference stage and you're freaking out because you're worried about what everyone will think about you or whatever, if you go to, hang on, who are the people I help? What are they struggling with? Oh my God, I can totally help them with that. And then come from that place. It's like we take any mindset wobbles out of the equation. Okay, so the next ones I have on my list, and I hope this is not overwhelming for you, but there's a recording, you can come back and listen to it. I feel like you guys are going to know a lot of this. That's why I've packed so much into it. Is one of the premises of neurolinguistic programming is modeling what works. So we model what works. So when people go into launch mode, so often I see people, so I kind of alluded to it before, going for a new strategy, going for a new coach, going for a new webinar title, going for a new blah, 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 going for a new mindset strategy. But if you really take a couple of moments to go back to what has worked for you in the past, both with regards to your strategy and both with regards to your mindset. What has worked for you in the past? Do that. Just do that. Modeling, what works for others. So I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to do an actual exercise with you here. And if you're not driving, I'm pretty sure no one's driving. Karen might be driving, but everybody else looks like they're at their desk. Anyway, even if you're driving, you can just listen along. But if you're not driving, I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to think about someone who you, Karen, cool, no, not driving. So I want you to close your eyes. Let's take in a couple of deep breaths first, actually. So just take in 3 deep breaths in a timing that works for you. Good. So now I want you to think about someone who you reckon has mega launching down pat. Doesn't have to be mega launching, just launching. Someone who you feel like has that resourceful mindset. It doesn't even, actually, let's change that. It doesn't even have to be anything to do with launching. Just think of someone that you think has the resources to be resourceful. They've got that strong and resilient mindset. Good. And now, if you're happy to do so, I want you to float over into them, into their energy field, and I want you to go ahead and ask them, do you have any insights for me? Do you have any gold nuggets? And just trust your subconscious. If you haven't done much subconscious work, it might take a little while to land, but just get super curious and see if anything pops in. You may even like to see their wisdom. Pretend that you can see it coming to you. Just allowing them to speak or whisper. All those words of wisdom. Good. Beautiful work. Thanking them for their time, stepping out of their energy, clearing yourself of their energy, making sure that you've left it all behind, but allowing yourself to take any wisdom with you that you can incorporate into your subconscious, into your mindset moving forward. Good. Awesome. So coming all the way back to me by opening your eyes. And if you would like to share, I would love for you to do so, whether any insights popped into your head. I really like that one. I really like that one. Cool. If anyone wants to share, just pop them in the comments. So the next one is just having a flexible mindset. all of this stuff helps you to have a flexible mindset, but I just wanted to remind everyone that we want to remain unattached to the how, even though we have our plan and even though we've got really specific, as much as we can, we want to remain really unattached to the how so that you can still be really present and have that ability to pivot on your feet. And I want to give you an example, and I'm in it right now, and I'm going to share really vulnerably with you. I've got my goal. I want to have 33 people in this membership. My launch plan says do webinar, and I'm doing another mindset coaching call and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then I got cart close on, I think it's the 22nd of December, right? Because I have a flexible mindset, I have not had my feathers ruffled too much by not only having, I think I only got 15 people sign up to my webinar, but I've been more focused on staying in a resourceful state. I've been doing a whole bunch of follow-ups. I've been doing a whole bunch of free calls, all as a result of my Facebook Lives and conversations that I'm having with people. And I'm already at 10 and I'm not worried about the 33. And so I'm like, oh, maybe webinar wasn't the way I was going to get there. Cool, huh? And this happens all the time. So one of the ladies who I supported recently in a launched something, wanted to go for 20K. Nobody bought it. Her audience went silent. They were really engaged in her content, but they were just like, nah. And then so she managed to stay in a really resourceful mindset. She had really juicy conversations with them about what they thought they needed help with. She completely pivoted and offered an entirely different membership type group program and still had a 20K launch. Now, do we want to call that a failed launch or a successful launch? I think a successful launch, baby. So it's just that beautiful sense that we're going to remain completely unattached to how you're going to get there, even though you have your plan, even though you've built in what you know works, you still want to have this unattached sensation that things could go completely differently. You want to just get really curious. Cool. So the next one is, I just want to remind everyone of the realization that you're not going to feel high vibe all of the time. In a mega launch, in any launch, in business, you're not going to feel high vibe all of the time. And I've read a little bit of stuff in Buddhism kind of prose about this in terms of happiness. Like if we strive for happiness, then every time we're not happy, we'll be really disappointed and it'll take us 10 steps back. And I feel like it's the same with launching and business. Is if you're striving for high vibe all of the time, every time you don't feel high vibe, it's like you spiral out of control and like, oh, but I've been doing all the things. And I've caught heaps of people that have come to me at that particular moment. So what I want everybody to be striving for is a strong and resilient mindset where we're constantly working on our mindset, but our mindset does not need to be perfect. And because we're constantly working on our mindset or consistently working on our mindset, it doesn't have to be deep or heavy. It can be super light and fun. And because we're going for this strong and resilient mindset, we are going to get to experience that high vibe more of the time. And that's going to be super magnetic to our clients, but we're not going to fall into a heap every time we feel shitty about our launch. Because when we feel shitty about our launch and we don't do anything about it, that's when we exit the launch 3 days before it ends. That's when we sabotage the launch. That's when we change the strategy mid-launch, even though it's not based on what people are telling us or our actual intuition. Cool. So we've got a couple more to go through. And in order to have a mega launch, I've already alluded to this, but I believe that you need to have both. You need to have the ability to pull yourself out of mindset wobbles. But I also believe that you shouldn't expect that you should be able to do that every single time. I think you should also have the ability to allow others to pull you out. And the more vulnerable that you can be with your support people around you, whether they be your biz besties, whether they be your business coach, whether they be your mindset coach, whether they be your family, the quicker you can bounce back. Like I totally had a wobble on Sunday, spoke about it to my OBM, spoke about it to my husband, 2 seconds later, all good. And had I stayed in my own head, analyzing the whole thing, it could have been like this spiral out of control. And then I've also just popped in there, I think we also need the ability to stop everything and rest whenever you need. Like so many people judge themselves for this, but if you've got that built into your plan that you can take a Netflix day if you need a Netflix day, like having that Netflix day will allow you to jump back on the plan super quick. So like, let's make that part of the plan, ladies. Okay, cool. And then the next one is combination of focus for short periods of time and having loads of fun. So the number of times that I have caught people in this, I'm working on my mindset, I'm perfecting my mindset, I need to be focused all of the time, is like out of control. I don't believe you need to focus all of the time. You need to get really good at focusing for short periods of time and then having a shit ton of fun for the rest of the time, right? And the number, like, I know I've been saying the number of times, but like, there's so many themes that come up in my sessions with people. Like the more fun we have in our lives, in our businesses, the more money we make, ladies, the more money we make. And it's just been shown to me time and time again, both in my own business and in my clients' businesses. And then the final one is it's all just a big bloody experiment. Like, let's not take it too seriously. When I see people I've been in Tash Corbin's takeoff program, I'm in Melinda Kiddo's, so that was like a couple of years ago. Currently, I'm in Melinda Kiddo's, oh my God, I need that on steroids program. And there's this real need to perfect our niche, to perfect our messaging, to perfect our website, to perfect our launches, to perfect our systems. And I think if we can see in the future our business in 10 years' time being perfect, if you need it to be, and then seeing yourself moving towards that and making a shit ton of money in the process, much healthier than trying to perfect the message before you share the message. Perfect the website before you share the website. And I'm currently in launch mode. My webinar's a flop. I haven't finished my website yet, but I've got my payment link thing up. But it just doesn't matter. My vibe is super cool. I have a super connected community of ladies who I can help. Everybody is so excited about it. Like, none of that perfect stuff matters. And by me, like, going through my launch like this, the next one's going to be easier. Like, don't put off, especially if you haven't launched yet, don't put off launching thinking that you've got to have all this stuff perfect. Just launch something. You don't have to have a packet to launch something. So I got a couple of offers for you just in case you are like, right, I need to prioritize my mindset. There's an opportunity to work with me one-to-one. It's in a 6-month program. This is where I do 12 fortnightly intensive mindset sessions with people. We do hypnosis, NLP, EF tapping, and I say my own brand of mindset coaching because sometimes I don't follow any processes and we just have a good old chat and we celebrate how far you've come, or we schedule shit into your diary, or like sometimes it can be super simple. It's light, it's fun, even if we go deep and change big limiting beliefs that you've had since childhood, we're still laughing by the end of the session. And that is my favorite way to be. And today is the last day that you can grab this package at $6.86 per month, because it's going up to $7.95 per month as of tomorrow. Or if you're not sure about VIP yet, I've got my Mindset Magic membership. So this is my heart and soul project. I am breaking all the rules. I'm breaking the rules in terms of price. I've had numerous coaches tell me that I'm undervaluing my work. I call bullshit. I'm going with what feels good for me. During COVID, I really had this huge connecting experience to my values and how I really want to serve in my business. And it's providing that baseline of mindset support to women in business. All women in business, doesn't matter what stage you're at. If you're not ready for launching, we'll get you ready for launching. It just doesn't matter. We're going to have specialized launch mindset stuff in this membership, because I have held quite a few people's hand now in terms of people's mindset in big launches. There's going to be monthly group calls, a library of hypnosis and EFT tappings that are like, it's not like you've got to do them all. They're like a pick and mix. So on the day that you wake up in the morning, you get to choose from which one feels good for you. There's going to be mini mindset modules for you to listen to on the run. This is not going to be another program that you have to do. I'm making it super easy. It's all in Facebook. You can have access to your phone. And I'm going to be giving my peeps access to fabulous VIP upgrades. And you get me and the other ladies as your ferocious cheerleaders. It's $3.96 to join as a founding member. You get a 12-month access. So you're essentially paying $33 a month, which is 50% off what the normal rate will be, which is $66 per month. And I just want to get as many founding members in there as possible, because we are going to have so much fun. And because I'm in founding member launch mode, I'm going to be like, I've already got the basics in there, but I'm going to be uploading hypnosis audios for you on whatever you think you need. Like if somebody's experiencing grief and they want hypnosis audio on grief, I'll put it up there. But you know, by the same token, there'll be hypnosis audios on believing in yourself, feeling cruisy on sales calls, webinars with ease, definitely ones around, like I've already done the one about your business feeling easy. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited about it. It's totally my passion project. And I'm saying that it's like your Acuity subscription service, but for mindset work. So if you're interested, simply hit me up by emailing me, messaging me, either on normal SMS or Facebook Messenger. My email is info@antheacutler.com and I'll send you all the deets. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm going to send out the recording straight after this or a bit later this Arvo. But, you know, I'm always happy to keep in touch with my ladies. There's no big sales pitches from me. I just feel so blessed by all the women in business that I have met, and I can't wait to support more ladies. So thank you so much for being here. No worries, Karen. Cool. Zoe, visualization, realizations, tenacity, support, outsourcing, flexibility, strength, and fun is what came up. Cool. Thanks so much, Zoe. I'm so happy. Cool. Thanks so much, ladies. I love you all, and I am going to sign off. Keep in touch.